soon as I arrived in Basra Palace, I knew that we were in a war zone. We were getting indirect fire. You know, we hid behind a wall as the rounds came down nearby, and so straight away we hit the ground running. We knew that what we'd arrived in was a dangerous situation.
The inevitable consequence of fighting and of operating against violent militias who are breaking the law is that you're going to take casualties. But I didn't want to think about who it might be.
I don't need to sell my brother as a hero. See, in Islam there is a hadith, meaning, saying of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and it goes like that your actions are judged by your intentions. So I know what my brother's intentions were, and he knew what his intentions were.
Most improved recruit, Private Hashmi.
It's easy to carry banners and shout about things, but if you want to make changes, or if there's something that you're not happy with, you have to be part of that system. At the same time, as a Muslim, you're obliged to, wherever you're living, that's your homeland, and you are to contribute positively in that society. Gibran very much felt that being a Muslim, being a British, being a Pakistani, it puts him in a privileged position. And he didn't merely see his deployment as just serving a country, but also, serving his fellow human beings and serving his fellow Muslims. We had telephone conversations, because they do get their time. I guess it's every week or stuff. So every time that he'd get his chance, he'll ring home, and we would, obviously my mother didn't know. My mother, because we had told our mother that he's been deployed to Germany rather than Afghanistan, because, she wasn't aware of the fact that he was deployed to Afghanistan.
Really?
Yeah.
Until,
we were visited by the military officers who gave us bad news. Until then. The very last conversation that we had is actually the email that he sent to my sister, and it was on the news that one of the soldiers had been killed, and his email was, "Oh, don't worry, it's not me." And we looked at that email later on, and
There's not much people can do, but where do they go? All they can do is stay at home and hope for the best.
We've heard reports, William, that Taliban fighters have been seen heading north of the Kabul. Have you seen evidence of that?
Jesus Christ. Down in the basement.
He used to say to me, "Katie, don't worry about me, because the army, the people that I'm at war with, they will look after me." But you can't help worrying when it's on the news in your face every day and it's another one dying. And even though Tony always said to us, if anything comes on the news, don't worry, because you will be notified first before it comes on the news.
There are unconfirmed reports that 5 British soldiers in Iraq have been wounded in intense fighting this afternoon with radical Shiites.
I think my family was just constantly watching the news. Just, you're just reading newspapers all the time, and it's like he was just so worried, just constantly.
Well, people clearly feel the situation here is pretty dire now, and who can blame them? This is where bodies are frequently dumped.
There was rising crime, rising levels of violence and attacks, and they looked at America and us and other coalition partners and said, well, you know, you're some of the leading countries in the world, why can't you fix this? So you could see that without some pretty decisive measures being taken, and pretty quickly, that there was going to be a spiral of violence.
Tony got really scared because he'd seen one of his best mates get killed. He'd seen it happen, and he phoned up saying he's really scared and he wants to come home now, but he still had like 4 weeks left of his tour.
New figures suggest Afghanistan as a whole is becoming increasingly dangerous. Suicide attacks went up fivefold over the same period.
They regarded Afghanistan as just a more dangerous place to be. They felt at more risk there. And when we first arrived, a lot of the guys had been out to Afghanistan and Iraq quite a few times before, and all the briefings in the first few days were along the lines of, things have really hotted up here now. Things are a lot more dicey.
He just said, oh, hi Mum, hi Dad, you know, and he said, oh, it's really kicking off here. He said, I probably won't be able to be in contact for a while now. He said, because we've got a big battle coming up.
Yeah, something was happening, yeah.
And he said, so don't worry if you don't hear from me, but as soon as it's over, I'll be in contact. He said, and then we'll be packing up ready to come home.
Here, the bodies of 14 British service personnel killed when an RAF Nimrod crashed in Afghanistan last Saturday have been brought back to the UK. The plane carrying their bodies landed at RAF Kinloss in the last hour. Their deaths were the largest single loss of British military personnel since the start of the so-called War on Terror in 2001.
They died in the skies above Afghanistan, half a world away. Today, a huge transporter plane brought the bodies of the 14 men who died aboard the Nimrod back to their home base in Scotland.
The war was going on, the weeks went on, and it's like when you turn on the TV and you're watching a film and you're getting so into it that you feel like you're actually in that film. You feel like, is he really out there? Is he really doing that? You know, you don't believe it.
You could see that the situation was getting ever worse. There's more lads being killed on a regular basis, like, you know, that it didn't seem to go much more than a week or fortnight without somebody being killed or badly injured.
Record me!
Hey.
Record me!
Andy, you're looking at us,
What? Oh yeah, I know.
No, well, fucking parking.
How do you stop it? Hello! Can't stop it!
Well, I'd told Stephen before he went to get himself a good camera, and that before, you know, to take plenty of photos, as he couldn't go back. Once it's gone, once that moment's gone, you've lost it.
And little videos, they were kind of live, you know, with when he was singing on one and dancing on another, and they were chatting, swearing on another.
I love you, chicken! I love me too!
That was Stephen and Lee taken outside the barracks at Senelager in Germany. What did he call him?